June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, a time to shine light on the challenges many men face. Devin Kidd joins us live in the studio with more on what the experts are saying. Devin?
Kathy, experts are saying a lot of men are suffering in silence rather than reaching out for mental health support. In Jackson County, one organization specializing in therapy for men says your mental health is something that should not go unchecked. Dr. Ryan Reed with Grow Community in Carbondale says men are often less likely to seek help for conditions such as depression, anxiety, and stress due to stigma and societal expectations.
Times when it comes to men, they are struggling with some very severe mental health issues. As you know about suicidal ideations and suicidal attempts, men are more likely to actually complete the termination of their lives a lot of times. And most times it's because we aren't talking about it. Especially when it comes to depression.
Experts encourage anyone struggling with their mental health to speak with a trusted friend, family member, and especially a healthcare professional. Dr. Reed says there are a variety of options available, including individual therapy, group therapy, and other support services designed to help people manage their mental health and improve their overall well-being. Live in the studio, Devin Kidd, Heartland News.